Hey everybody, Cahlen here, and today I'm going to tell you about a toothache that I have and how I'm going to solve it. So a toothache can often be bacteria of some kind growing in your gums underneath your teeth. And that can be a bad place for that to happen because there's lots of veins and stuff in the jaw which go back into the throat and down into the kind of the heart region. And basically, if you let something like this go too bad, also it'll go up into the sinuses and things like that. So basically, these bacteria are eating tissue and they're creating toxins. And it's the toxins which are primarily the problem. And these toxins are not just locally causing problems, but they get kind of flowed out, transported out to other places in the body. And they can be the cause of a lot of health problems that people wouldn't even associate with the fact that they also have a tooth problem. In fact, many people will have a problem in their gums or in their teeth and not even know about it. And it will be causing, it can get to the point where this will make you live much fewer years. So, anyways, basically my strategy for this, I'll just walk you through the various steps. But first I'm going to tell you how I got this and how I generally avoid this type of situation. So I have a wisdom tooth back here, which is like butting up kind of against the other tooth, which is fully out. And the wisdom tooth is only like, I don't know, like a third of the way out, and it's been like that for like 20 years. And so it hasn't really been a problem. Just every once in a while, when certain things happen, it will get infected. And what I found is that it's when I floss my teeth, I will find that like randomly I might get a infection in a certain place in my mouth. And there's reasons why. There's even studies which have shown that flossing may not be as beneficial as we've been told. And in my experience, it increases the rate of infection underneath the teeth in the gums. And so I tend to avoid flossing. And I've gone long periods of time without flossing. Even though in a period of my life I flossed every day. And I find I'm better off not flossing very much. But sometimes I will for various reasons. And it seems to be about a 50-50 chance that if I floss, that something will happen. And of course there's ways that I can decrease that by using like a little antimicrobial mouthwash, which will be similar to what I'm going to also show you later in this video. So anyways, I floss a little, and now there is basically, I can feel that there's pressure. The gum underneath the tooth is sensitive when I touch it, and also I can feel it going into the actual jawbone, right here where there's this joint where the jaw meets this part of the skull here, and I can feel it's really tender and feels kind of constricted and like it's kind of filled up, so it feels like a bad situation. And then I feel it come down the jaw and go down along the front jaw. Comes down to about here, and right here this is not a very strong situation, so I only feel it very lightly here. But if this gets really strong, I'll feel it here. I'll also start to feel it in the side of my neck here, and it'll come down into kind of the front right here. So that's when you should get concerned that you're really harming yourself here. If the problem is so bad that it's overflowed down into your heart area, not a good situation. So anyways, I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to do today. Okay, so first thing that I did was I got up, I turned on these lights, and including this heater down here, and I stood in front of it naked, and I took a couple of puffs of this hemp oil, which you can buy legally online, and has very similar effects to cannabis oil. And I basically get into a mode where I'm kind of feeling the energy in my body, and I start off by setting the intention. I'm going to feel out in this session what's going on here. So I'm going to focus, and I'm going to feel and get a sense for what's going on and where things are at. And now that I have that, I'm going to set the intention. We're going to solve this. We're going to set ourselves on the path of solving this. And so during that session, I find myself working on all kinds of different parts of my body with just a little part of my attention focused on this spot still. So I can see how when I change maybe something in my hip, I can feel a little bit of an opening, like I'm allowing more, like an open, cleaner feeling, like it's a better situation for what's going on here. Then I know that what I'm doing down in my hip is helping. So basically that's the first step of the process, is basically setting an intention and becoming aware, and then focusing on your body. And the hemp oil helps with that quite a bit. So the next thing that I'm going to do is basically a thing I'm going to be doing all day, is today I'm going to fast and just eat basically coconut oil out of this 5-gallon bucket here. So the reason for that is the bacteria, the other reason that I think I forgot to mention, flossing will do it, and then eating something very sugary, like apple juice seems to do it for me. Certain types of sugars from certain sources in a very liquidy and easily accessible state for bacteria tend to trigger infections underneath the teeth and the gums and in the jaw. So basically, that's part of the strategy I'm using today. I'm not going to be eating anything that can be turned into carbs, so that these things don't have anything else to eat, right? I'm not giving them extra energy. I'm not trying to help them win this war. I'm going to win this war. They're not going to win this war. So they're not going to be able to really do much with this coconut oil. In fact, it may even kill some of them, since this stuff can be antimicrobial for certain kinds of microbes. And I'm also going to be adding a little bit of salt. So I'm going to put like a 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/3 of a teaspoon in my mouth every once in a while. I'm going to swish it around. So I'm also going to be doing something called oil pulling, which is it cleans out your teeth and your gums. And so basically, that's just an added benefit. I would do this anyways, even if the oil pulling wasn't part of it. And with that, I'm going to add just a little tiny pinch of sea salt with the oil, and that makes it really satisfying, actually. It's almost like as satisfying as eating French fries or something. It's like, it's got that, oh yeah, junk food, but it's not junk food. It's actually extremely good for you. The coconut oil is extremely good for you, and the sea salt is actually extremely good for you as well. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a solution of something, which I am going to soak in a cotton ball and stuff up right next to the tooth. So let's talk about what's in that solution. So first of all, right here, there's a glass jar full of distilled water. And I have this little device here, which has two silver rods going down into the water. And there's an electrical current. This is a USB cord, so it's powered by USB. And there's electrical current going between those two rods. And as that's happening, silver ions are coming off of the rods and into the water. Now, silver is antimicrobial, so basically this is going to be the base of the thing I'm going to be using. Then I'm going to, let's see if I have it here. Here we go. Then I'm going to be using DMSO. Now this is an interesting substance and something that you have to be careful with, but it can be extremely useful to you. So basically what it does is it is also a little bit antimicrobial, but the main reason that you use it, well, there's a couple reasons. One, it gives you sulfur, which is really good and important. But another reason is that it creates a pathway from your skin, if you put it on your skin, from your skin for any chemical, toxin, or beneficial substance straight into your bloodstream. So you have to be careful about how you're using this, because if you put some like a lotion or something on you which is really toxic, and then you put DMSO on, or the reverse way, that stuff's already bad for you, but now you're sending it straight into your bloodstream. So you got to be really careful with this stuff. And you only use little tiny bits. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a base of this, and then I'm going to put just a few drops, 1 or 2 or 3 maybe, of DMSO into this. And then I'm going to make chlorine dioxide. And let's see if I have this. Yes. Chlorine dioxide. I got my medicine cabinet right here. Got everything I need. So this chlorine dioxide, well, one of them is sodium chloride, and one of them is citric acid. And when you combine these, they turn into chlorine dioxide. And that's something that people use to purify water, but also it is something that can help you cure many problems relating to microorganisms and even other things like lack of oxygen in the tissue. So basically, I'm going to make a couple of drops of this as well, and I'm going to add those to this. So I'm going to basically have the antimicrobial from the silver ions, the antimicrobial from the chlorine dioxide, and then the DMSO will have that as well. and basically take a cotton ball, you know, find as clean as you can, organic cotton if you can, and soak it, and then put it up there, and just leave it there for a while, and just keep repeating that. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already done this many times, and I've helped other people do the same thing. So I have a very high level of confidence that it's going to work. But I guess we'll see. Every situation is different. So, anyways, I hope that's helpful to you. This is how I cure tooth problems. And yeah, it's been really good for me, so I hope it's good for you too. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll share it with someone that you care about. It helps them, it helps me, and it'll help you feel like a healthy type of person. If you're feeling extra generous, you can head on over to cahlen.org/gift, and there you can basically learn of ways to help me feed myself, shelter myself, and to upgrade and repair my gear. All donations give you the option of having a 1-hour life coaching call with me. So thanks again for watching.